Hello, my name is Aznar Noguera, and I would like to talk about my practical one. So, I would like to start talking with my first piece of work that you can see here, that is made by using traditional materials and following the mode of work that artists developed in one of the movements in the 20th century art. Basically, my piece represents a stereotype that I represented by using acrylic painting. So, let's talk about the process of creation. Basically, I just needed to start thinking about what I wanted to represent. And I focus on two main aspects. The first one thing that is actually big but weak, and other thing that it seems weak but it is actually strong. And one phrase inspired me. Only the tree that has the roots in hell is the one that can grow to heaven. So, the stereotypes is in the roots itself. Basically, the roots will represent the stereotype and will be the main thing that you see on the painting. With the big tree, we have short roots, and the weak or tiny tree, we have stronger and big roots. So now let's talk about the meaning of the piece. So basically, I follow two steps. The first one is to paint the background, that I represent the sky and the ground and below the ground in order to see all the roots. So once I done that, I just needed to add the trees and little details like the clouds. But let's talk about the main thing. You can see that the roots have a color red. This is done in purpose because in the phrase it represents hell. Hell can only be represented with colors that are like red. It is usually represented with red. So here is the same. But also in our body we have arteries and we have blood. That the own blood represent strength and willpower. So the roots represent also strength and willpower. So it is like a process of a connection between the blood, the strength, and the roots of each tree. Also, talking about other details, you can see the sky. They have different clouds that it has like a dark blue, almost a dark blue, and the clouds are transparent. So this shows up that it may begin to rain or to have a strong weather, and only the tree that has the stronger roots will survive. But also, we can see details like the light. You can clearly see that it has different types of green in the tree, the ground, and even the white lines in each tree, representing the light and the reflection itself. Also, and finally, let's talk about my learning points through the realization of my creation. So basically, one thing that I noticed is that color are essential. In this case is the red, because roots are normally not red. They are brown like the ground, but in this case they are red to represent the similarity to the blood. So the viewer can see that this represents the stereotype itself. It helps to give the emotion. Also, I would like to talk about the technique that I use, that it is this acrylic painting using a wet method that basically in my acrylic set of paintings I have different colors like green, blue, brown, but they don't have the color that I wanted. So I use a strategy in which I use black and white in order to mix with different colors to get different types of things. Like you can see here the brown of below the ground and the brown of the tree. You can see that it has a different color. That this one is created by mixing with black, brown and black, and this one mixing white with brown. So that is something that I realized, that the color is essential in your message. Now let's talk about my second piece of work using techniques that have been used by artistic movements over the last 50 years. I represent the word uncertainty using an image or a photograph that you can see right here. So now let's talk about my process of creation. Basically, I wanted to represent uncertainty on a different way, using a fight. Because at the start of a fight, you can see both warriors, but you don't know the end. Which one will be the winner? That is the uncertainty. And I wanted to represent a fight like the ones in all middle-age books. But the creativity resides on the armor and the postures. So you can see that both warriors are pointing at important parts of the body, like the head or the neck. So basically, this is another uncertainty. Which one will be fast enough to hit the head or the neck of the rival? And I get all my inspiration from movies, video games, mangas. But now let's talk about the meaning of my pieces. I wanted to represent uncertainty with details. You can see that one warrior does not have armor at all, and the other warrior have the armor of a Spanish conqueror. Has the sword, the shield, the helmet. So the thing is that one has equipment and the other only has skill. So it is a fight between skill and equipment. Which one will be the winner? That is the uncertainty. Another thing is the color. Each warrior have a main color. The one without armor has a clear black color in all the clothes, while the other has a gray color of the armor. So, black represents mystery and gray represents indecision. So you see a fight between black, that is the mystery, and the gray, that is the indecisions. That both are part of uncertainty. Another important thing is the light that comes from the back that reflects on the armor, making them the main thing on the image. My learning points through the realization of my creation is that I realized that it's quite difficult to represent a fight, because you cannot just stand still and move the sword. You must make the movement in the picture. You must make the sword follows you in the picture, that the viewer can see that the sword is following you. Not only that, but I also learned that technologies are essential nowadays. Technologies represent change, and images also represent this change. Nowadays, an image or a photo is not just art, it is a change. It changed your perception of art. And I think that this is quite something important to teach in schools. How the advantages and disadvantages of modern technologies and how your perception of art can change.